family. Welcome back to Juxtaposition. It's your boy LC, and I'm excited to be here with you for another 5-Minute Friday, setting the stage for a dope episode titled Boasting in Weakness. But before we even get to 5-Minute Friday, I want to warn you, this might be a little longer than 5 minutes, 1, and 2, like, subscribe, set those notifications, and drop some comments so we know what you got going on. But let's go ahead and get started. Again, guys, we're going to be discussing boasting in weakness. But before we really dive into it, what does it actually mean to boast? And let's be clear. There are two different forms of boasting we're going to be talking about. Boasting in yourself and then boasting in the Lord. Because again, boasting is excessively proud speech that highlights self-satisfied talk of one's achievements, your possessions, or your abilities. And when you think about that social media account, when you reflect on how you show up to the office, when you think about when you obtain a new possession, what's your mindset? What's your heart posture look like? Like, if we're keeping it 100, have you ever found yourself capitalizing on boasting on yourself about how dope your vacation with your family was on social media with all your beautiful pictures and videos? Have you ever found yourself boasting in the office about how you were a barrier breaker and doing all these great things because your higher education and all the sacrifices you had to make to get promoted to where you are today? Have you ever found yourself boasting about that brand new possession, that brand new shiny X-Class luxury vehicle? Because again, you have labored the latter part of your life to earn the status to even obtain that type of possession. I think it's fair to say, family, we've all found ourselves boasting in something or someone that was not God and left us looking self-absorbed. And I will say, family, especially me, right? Like, when you think about yourself, when I think about myself, I found myself boasting about how good things are going on in my life, expressed with jubilation, positive vibes of how everything was working out in my favor. I'm pretty sure, again, I'm not the only one, but how often do we find that excitement still resonates? You know, do you find that after you posted all those dope videos and pictures on social media about your great vacation, did you forget about the great vacation vibes when you got home and you found that you had a letter waiting from you from the IRS saying they waiting for a refund check from you? Did you look at that director role a little different when you realize this living dream that you had and telling everybody about all the sacrifices that you've made? You're now sitting in a role that you hate. It's a living nightmare because you realize you actually have no support. And that beautiful brand new luxury vehicle, again, that gave you a sense of pride because of all the work that you've done to earn it. But just like the tires on that car, when they start to rub off, that tread starts to wear off, your sense of pride, your sense of being also starts to wear off, making you feel just as low as you were before you could even afford the very car you're sitting in today. So what am I getting at, folks? I'm getting at boasting in our self-accomplishments, our possessions, our abilities. It's meaningless. And it also showed me how far from God I was and how far from the will of his desire in my life I actually was. And I can highlight that in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5, where it says, "But understand this, in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen, and conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power." And after hearing that, and after you read it for yourself, if you're saying this is not the character I want to display, if you like me and see this, it says this is not the way I want to actually live, then have you ever considered, instead of boasting on fleeting things that have zero impact on your purpose with Christ, how often do you find yourself boasting that we need the Lord to help us keep our mental stability? How often do you find yourself boasting that you know you can't control your tongue, but because you're learning to trust God, you can see how your speech is changing? Have you found yourself boasting on the fact that, hey, I didn't have a mother or a father growing up, but Jesus taught me through my trials and tribulations the very principles on what it was going to take to be a man or woman of God, representing him in love to others, teaching his glory through your testimony. In order for that to happen, folks, that means we got to show our weakness. And what is weakness? Weakness is the state or condition of lacking strength. But here's the thing, you can't boast in God and these things, especially your weakness, when society and Satan tells you. You don't tell nobody about your weakness. You hide that from folks. You justify, you defend your position on what you got going on, because nobody could judge you but God, right? So because of that, we like to hide that we struggle with being honest. We like to hide that we struggle with addiction. We like to hide that we struggle with forgiveness. We like to hide that we struggle with communicating with our spouses because we are selfish individuals. So how can we boast in the Lord in our weakness if we're always hiding? How can we grow through our weakness with the testimony to share of God's goodness if we're always hiding? Let me share with you what our great apostle Paul said. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 8 through 12, concerning the thorn that he had in his side. He said, concerning this, I pled with the Lord 3 times that it might leave me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My loving kindness and my mercy are more than enough, always available, regardless of the situation. For my power is being perfected and is completed and shows itself most efficiently in your weakness. Therefore, I will the more gladly boast in my weakness, so that the power of Christ may completely enfold in me and may dwell in me. So I am well pleased with weakness, with insults, with distress, with persecutions, and with difficulties for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak in human strength, then I am strong, truly able, truly powerful, truly drawing from the Lord's strength. So, my question to you, family, are you drawing near to God's strength today in weakness, boasting in his power? Or are you still just boasting about yourself, your self-made perfection that often leaves you feeling a little depressed, unable to rejoice in times of trouble? Which one have you chosen? This is Juxtaposition 5-Minute Friday.